Yeah. What I might just do, which is I've just always wished there was like a way to kind of keep notes, like just in case there are some, just to make it easier to like find interesting bits, or like specific bits of the conversation. I'm just going to open up WordPad just in case we like hit on something that feels like really specific or whatever people might want to jump to. So yeah, like kind of recent developments, I think, are actually on the topic of sort of recent developments. I've led a task I think is hopefully quite useful, which is creating a sort of, at the end of every month, creating a, what are the main things we've achieved in the last month and what are the main things we want to do next month. Just like super short bullet points. And then anyone who wants a higher level of detail, like maybe some of our funders or people interested in the unusual ways that we're working together or whatever, there'll be a YouTube video like showing hour by hour, like exactly how we spent our time. It's about 2 minutes long, and it moves quite fast through, but you can pause it and just see like literally how all of us have spent all of our time in complete detail for the geeky people. So yeah, super simplified summary thing and then more detail. I think that would be quite a cool thing to sort of keep co-creating at the end of every month. I'll give you the link for that actually, and you can have a peek. But yeah, actually that might be quite nice. You can tell me if you think it gives a nice overview of what's recently happened. I just need to remember what a short link I gave it, because I just started using it. Time.cc dignity with activity logs. Yeah, activity logs. Try that. You see this in the slide window, or maybe it's that side.
Yep, I see it.
Yeah, so most recently we went to this open co-ops event that was really interesting, kind of looking at the potential for overlapping the cooperative movement with the open source software world, and looking at how these beautifully cooperatively owned, cooperatively managed organizations, big and small, working in all sectors of society, can kind of burst their bubble a little bit and work more openly, kind of teaching and learning from other organizations and cross-collaborating more across projects. So really cool, really interesting. So yeah, I feel like Dignity is kind of a platform co-op. I think that's a good term for us, a kind of internet-based open co-op.
So did you guys get a chance to present there?
We didn't really present so much. It was quite a self-organized conference, so there was a lot of open space where people can have their own workshops and conversations around various things. I ran a little workshop about onboarding, not so much with like kind of answers and teaching people, but more just to kind of hold a space for us to explore questions around how do we want to bring people into our projects, and like to what extent, kind of invitations versus boundaries. Yeah, kind of what does it mean? What does that onboarding journey look like in each of our individual projects, you know, to the point where you're kind of one of the most influential people. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
What,
that's good. So, and you kind of got a feel of how people would react to the platform and what their enthusiasm is. Was it for people, public, or what? I meant the summit.
I think it was primarily for people interested in cooperatives and kind of, you know, moving away from the sort of Uber model of
shared things.
Yeah, not just being like, oh, technology, awesome, but kind of looking at it more closely and being like, who does this really benefit? Who is it owned and operated by? Is it just another way of exploiting workers? That's kind of the themes of the event very much was, yeah, you know, how can we build our own solutions for local community issues or global, you know, big issues, but kind of it's by the people, for the people, you know, still financially self-sustaining, but kind of not owned by huge centralized corporations that hold all the power and can become opaque and corrupt and stuff. But I think Dignity goes down well, you know, like that is a pretty hard audience, I think, or not audience, but the people there are not the easiest to sell an idea to. I think you've got some positive people there, people who, like, you know, they get excited by good projects and stuff, but they're quite sort of discerning. So you're not just going to say something like, oh, it's like connecting neighbors and people to make friends and help each other and raise money for awesome stuff. You know, like some people will buy that a bit, but they'll probably follow it up with some pretty hard questions, like how are you getting sign-ups? Like, how is this financially self-sustaining? Isn't there projects already out there like A, B, and C? But now it went down pretty well, I think. Yeah, like people generally like the idea, and I think especially if they listen to the answers to the questions that there's like 4, 5, 6 questions that we always get like straight away, and we have pretty good answers for them, I think. Yeah, it's definitely really useful to chat to people. I think I learned that I make it sometimes sound like it's just for raising money for charities, and actually I think especially at that event people were more interested in raising money for community projects and self-organized kind of social enterprises and stuff, which actually is what makes me more excited as well. Like, I'm not usually that excited by funding enormous charities that have millions of pounds. Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay. All right. So yeah, technically, what are we looking at the development parts of it?
Yeah.
Application.
So you had a look through like the document that's kind of got everything, the sort of main things I feel like we have so far, huh?
The activity log you showed just now, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yep.
The Dignity Dev link.
Yep, I'm looking at that.
So yes, we've got a handful of people who are interested in helping where they can with this. I think, yeah, it'd just be nice to draw up some flows, some user journeys. We've got a retreat coming up at the end of March. At the end of March, we've got a 4-day-long retreat for the team to go and deep dive into Dignity stuff and draw mock-ups and user journeys and things like that. But it'd be nice to do that before then as well. And I'm also working a lot on funding at the moment. And we should be registered as a legal entity within the next couple of weeks as well, which will be cool.
Okay. So did you need user journeys kind of mapped, or you got it? I didn't.
No, yeah, I don't think anything's really finished with the sort of tech development. Like we've got mostly, I've been doing most of the stuff here, and I've just got a handful of mock-ups and wireframes and a sort of half-done site map and things like this. And you know, some fairly clear ideas, more in my head than down on paper, of how it could look for people to. Flows, isn't it? It's called flows, no? User journeys through the app.
Okay.
So yeah, it'd be nice just to like flesh those out a bit more. I think just find a tool that's fun to use for it, and yeah, I don't know. I'm really open to being kind of guided by you if you would like to, if you feel comfortable to. It's not something that I've done before. I enjoy it and it's fun, but
no, sure. I mean, because you have these ideas, it's you. I guess, you know, if there's anybody to kind of first put it down on paper, it would be you, I guess. And I'm happy to look at it and then maybe, you know, give a.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
if you wanted to, I mean, that's fine. I mean, if you've got it nailed down, that's fine. I just wanted to kind of have clarity if where and how
I think
to add value to you guys.
It totally depends. I think if I don't know where you stand, but if you are interested in drawing up some draft kind of user flows and mock-ups, like that would be really exciting. I don't know how you would most like to work. If you would like to just come up with some stuff and share it, I would find that really fun.
Yeah, sure. So I guess you do have quite a bit of the mock-ups, wireframes done. I mean, if there's any kind of, if there's any more that you think would be needed, feel free to let me know. So these are things I could do. I could do the, wireframes, like, from a website or an application prototyping kind of a thing. I could do that either on paper or using some tools, like mock-up tools.
Yeah.
And the second thing was, translating those into user requirements. Like I'd sent one sample over. If a programmer is putting those, taking those story points, okay, you need very kind of concise modular things to really code into. So each scenario, like I think we picked one where we were doing the user profile dashboard. Remember, I kind of sent a small little, I kind of sent a document which would say what you need to see on this page and acceptance criteria, when you know that you're actually done with this feature. That's from a coding perspective. So if let's say a new developer jumps in and then they pick up this story card and then they look at these points. Okay, I've got to make sure that there is a profile image on the left-hand corner. Done. Okay, I need to see the linear graph which shows how long the member has been active with us. Okay, done. So that's how it goes. I mean, it's easier, like a checklist, to tick off and say, okay, this is exactly what I was told to do, and this is what I have given. So, there's no ambiguity anywhere. So that's why it helps to be very precise and unambiguous and to be to the point. So you kind of can check it off and say, this is done. I mean, so it again depends on some developers I know. For sure, if I'm coding, I would love to have one such handy. It makes my job so much easier. And but then some guys just want to look at a mockup and then they'll just jump right in. Okay, never mind any checklist. I know we'll just get it done. But then there is always a it's a slippery ground. Sometimes you tend to overlook things. So I, for one, like to go with a list like this, like a story card for every feature that you would want. It helps. I mean, you can also, a developer, it's easy for him, any developer, to kind of estimate and say, let me give myself, let's say 10 hours for this story, or 24 hours for this. So I should potentially be done with this whole feature of this app in the next 5 working days. Okay, so it's easier to estimate, easier to verify, and then hand off to somebody else. So those are the benefits. I could draw up those for you guys, the requirements, if that helps. And and I can, as I understand your, excuse me, your, sorry. So you guys are going mobile first, right? I mean, you're looking at a mobile app to begin with. Is that right?
Yeah, also my friend David Bovell, who you may have seen in the group, who's quite an experienced software developer, also suggested mobile first would be more sensible. He thought. I think that sounds cool. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, I feel more confident also you kind of seconding that by the sounds of it. Yeah, I think mobile first is fun. It feels kind of nice to look at the most simplified version first and then add potential complexity via a web app, I guess. Would you call it a web app?
Web application, basically, which you would, open from a desktop, right? I mean, your website is pretty good. I'm not sure which somebody's still working on it, and they're doing a good job.
Yeah, that's Pasco. Yeah, Pasco's been updating it.
It's going quite good. And I guess you would want to make an app right here. Is that right? Or
what, on that domain name?
You're on dignityplatform.org, and then you would want people to be able to log in and do their activity over here as well as on a mobile phone. What do you have in mind?
Yeah, I guess, dignityplatform.org. Yeah, I guess the promotional website would be replaced with the actual app. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't got a clearer picture of that in my head. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, the content that's on there now would still want to live somewhere for people who, yeah, I guess it'd just be a redesign. We'd need to let go of, I think, what's on there probably. And I mean, I think there's a lot of nice simplicity and clarity and stuff on there. But I really want to get rid of that. All of us do want to replace the video on the homepage, because that is a long, ambling thing that really
Yeah,
just kind of show us using Dignity platform as if it existed now. So that's one of Pasco's kind of top focuses, I think, is leading that.
No, I guess it's a good idea. I mean, in my opinion, it's good to have the have a video, more like a small, concise pitch, because it's sitting on your front page. You want to kind of catch attention. A video would definitely help. But I think most users would like to see, like you would do a pitch at a funding event, probably. Like, this is what we can do, and 1, 2, 3, this is what will deliver. Multiple benefits to charity, people who want to bond into the, highlight top 1, 2, 3 benefits, kind of a thing. So that's good. So my question was, if you not a question actually. If I could help, and I could do coding with the web app if you guys needed any help with that. Like you have, but then I'm not sure if that's where you're going. I know eventually you'd be ending up having a mobile app, but then if you were planning to extend your website and turn it into a app where people would sign in and to go ahead, I could pitch in there, and I could pitch in with the user stories or wireframes. These are the 3 things I have in mind right now. I would love to do the mobile part too, but if there's somebody who's leading the effort, I'm happy to collaborate with them. I'm a learner when it comes to mobile applications. Web apps, I can nail it, but then not the mobile part. I'm kind of not. I'm a curious learner, so over there. So I wouldn't claim that I can do that all for you.
Yeah, so you're more experienced in the web app,
rather
than Android or iOS.
Yes, I'm learning Android. iOS, Swift coding and things, but then it's very doing an experiment on that. That's about it. I could do the web application. I could do, if you guys have, if you're collecting data and you need kind of data analysis or graphs displayed on your website or something like that. That's again something I can easily do it for you.
Yeah, sweet. What sort of languages are you most experienced in writing on?
I've done a few different ones, depending on the kind of project that it's needed. So for typically a web application, you could take. There are different routes. Again, I guess you can make a calculated choice. Which way do we want to go. I've done Ruby on Rails platform. I'm familiar with they call it the LAMP stack, PHP, Apache kind of a route. That's good too. There are web applications. I could point you to some which have gone one way or the other, which have taken one or the other route, and they all have their benefits. They're quite good. So any of these, we could. If you don't already have a choice, we could, pick one, and I'm happy to, get on board with either of those if you need it. So Ruby on Rails and LAMP, and I can do the backend programming. I'm familiar with Python. I could do data analysis with things like Excel and put a dashboard and things like that if that's something you guys need. So yeah, did that answer your question? Did it give you?
Yeah, I think so, a little. Yeah, I'm also very early in stages of understanding the answers, but
no worries. Always feel free to get back. I'm happy to answer further if we need. I just don't want to overload with information when it's not needed.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
So if I had done this for a particular company, they wanted to do decide which particular technology stack do they want to go ahead with for their web application. They were mostly into web app. I guess they didn't consider mobile until a year later. So kind of put together and saying, sites like Twitter and this and Uber and these are going in this particular route. I mean, this is the technology they have implemented, and a few more are taking another route. I mean, with examples, you can just go over those sites and applications and get an idea as to, how you want yours to look like, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And you kind of compare and contrast and see, okay, this is probably more suited for the kind of user journey we are looking at our web, because they're not all the same, right? I mean, especially these commercial ones. I mean, they have a very different appeal, and you want yours to be, as I'm sensing it, you want it to be looking professional and yet not the fully for-profit. I mean, you don't want it to be a non-profit, but yet professional, correct? Is that what?
Yeah, I'm comfortable calling it a non-profit because researching the actual technical definition of that word, how most people interpret it is potentially slightly different, but I want to stick to the actual technical definition if we're going to use that word,
right.
Otherwise it just descends into confusion. I would say certainly we are all aligned on Dignity Platform being a project which serves first and foremost people and planet before our own monetary profit. That doesn't mean that we can't earn loads of money, especially in the longer term, but our priority is always going to be more focused on serving people and the planet. So the long-term future of life on this planet, having the greatest net positive impact on all species for all time, as insofar as we can, as a handful of people exploring and making mistakes and doing our best. But that's the kind of vision, and that's how our priorities work.
Right. Yeah, and maybe there are a couple of probably apps which kind of resonate with a little bit probably here and there with the mission that you're kind of looking at, right? And you could I'm not sure how far this place called Causes goes along. It's probably more they probably online petitioning kind of a thing, I guess.
So the website Causes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's different, I guess.
Yeah, let me show you something. Hey, do you mean to have your webcam off? Do you want to turn it on? Because it's off by default. I just realized you might.
No, it's all right. I didn't. Give me a moment, and but then I got a head stop, and yeah, I
okay, cool.
didn't very really pay attention. It was okay. Yep.
Hello. Hi.
Hey.
I wonder if you've seen Simbi. It's mentioned in the Dignity Dev links Google Doc. But they are so exciting. They really, like, the last couple of weeks for me have been just playing on Simbi so much.
Okay.
It's an incredible platform. There's no real money involved, like sterling currency, but it does have its own currency called Simbi. So to give like a sort of super quick kind of overview of like time banks and skills exchange sort of platforms and networks, there's been, at least in the UK, something called the Let's scheme, which I think the umbrella brand is called Let's Link UK. They sort of help kind of act as a node to connect you to your local Let's scheme. So I've been part of the Let's scheme for ages, and you have a checkbook, someone comes and helps you with absolutely any odd job or useful task, and you pay them in Let's. And when you join, I think you have 0. No, I suppose you must have like 20 Let's or something when you join. So that's been going for ages. And then there's Time Bank UK, and I think they work hour for hour, so everyone has to obviously charge the same amount because it's time, it's not a currency. But Simbi, in my mind, it's just so beautiful, and it actually works, and there's real people using it, and there's just so many skills in that marketplace.
It's good. It looks really nice, and it's kind of has a little rhyme to what we have in mind over here. Is that right?
It has what, sorry?
It kind of rhymes a little with what we have in mind here. Is that right?
Yeah, so much, even down to the values, the vision of it, so much. You look like, I think
if
go on.
Oh, good, sorry. No, I was saying if it's in the same geography or something, maybe, you know, one of us could go and kind of become users and then actually use their platform to kind of learn from
Yeah. I've got
different.
725 Simbi on there, so I think
You
I've got
do?
enough.
Okay, you're already on there. Okay, that's nice.
Also, on the off chance that you might be around in 45 minutes, 50 minutes, you're welcome to join a video call if you want to, that I have with Katie, who is a girl on Simbi who I've connected with, who also works in kind of user journeys and technical product management, product design. She seems quite experienced and inspired and really nice. So we're going to chat at 8 o'clock. I'm just interested to sort of see her views. I don't want to kind of connect to too many people, otherwise I'll probably just be a mile wide and inch deep. And I want to have closer relationships with just a small handful of people.
Yeah.
You being one of those people.
Yep. Okay. And so this person is on Simbi. She's on board with the Simbi
Yeah,
application.
I met her. Yeah, I was kind of just curious.
Okay. No, that's interesting. I mean, and if they're, it's always good to, because they've done something very similar, seemingly similar, rather, I guess, and that there'll be very, there might be differences when you kind of deep dive. You probably, but it's good. I mean, what they built here is good, and it would be wonderful to talk to her. And if give me that time, and then I'll see if what time you're planning to kind of chat with her. If I'm around, I'll send you a message.
Yeah. Okay. So it's in so it's 7:10 in England now. So it's in 50 minutes. So 8 p.m.
Oh, I mean, today in the next 1 hour.
Oh, what? Sorry, say again.
Are you going to be chatting with her in the next 1 hour?
Yeah, in almost an hour. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I have the one that from 11:30 to 12:30. I'm not around. I mean, in the next one. But that's great. I mean, you can capture inputs from her. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
And if she's pitching, I mean, if she wants to help you guys, that's cool too. I mean, if, I don't know what.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah. Let's see. I think she's happy to record the video call. So if you're interested, you could get a little taste of just. If there's a part of the video call you want to get a sense of her and what she's like and what she's bringing and what her interests are.
Yep.
Perhaps you might be interested in connecting with her or collaborating with her, but if not, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm really happy to move forward with you and explore, working on some of the things you mentioned, some of these user journeys and flows and specifications. I think that'd be really cool. It'd be really, really helpful.
Okay, so okay, all right, we could do that. And you're planning.
Let me touch one more update, just because I think it will help frame sort of where we're at the moment. So one of the main things we're focusing on at the moment is getting expressions of interest from causes, so organisations and projects that will raise money through dignity. And we're sort of, the way we're approaching it is like shortlisting the ones who are most interested in working with us. So rather than making a really wide, impersonal sort of invitation, we're like carefully selecting the organizations we're most inspired by, we feel like most match our values. We've got a handful of sort of metrics that we're actually measuring our ideal early adopter causes with. And then we're going to reach out to them, and the ones that sort of bite and sort of are most interested, we're going to move forward with. We're going to invite a couple of them to our retreat at the end of next month, in Leicester, and we're going to collect their expressions of interest in a Google document, and then we're going to go one step beyond that and be a little bit cheeky. And ask them to collect expressions of interest from their supporters. So they'll be circulating a separate Google document to their supporters. I don't know how well this is going to work, but I think we're going to try it, where their supporters say, we love this cause and we also love the idea of supporting this cause using Dignity platform. We think this is an awesome way to meet up with each other, fellow supporters, and have meaningful, helpful relationships. And yes, I would use it as a hirer, and or I would use it as a doer, knowing that money generated is going to go to these causes. And would they use the supporter voice feature as well to like a suggestion box, give their ideas on how their favorite causes could be even more inspiring, help problem solve challenges that they have, that sort of thing. Because I think that is going to really help us with getting funding first and foremost, and potential partnerships and things. Yeah.
Okay. So do you have a timeline in mind that you want to be having something for a demo purpose and things like that? Or is it too early to kind of?
So I think I think for the next sort of 2 or 3 weeks, I would say, we're going to be focusing a lot on deciding which causes are going to be our early adopters. There's only going to be 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, perhaps. And we're going to build up intimate relationships with them, and they're going to be quite diverse. Maybe one of them, probably no more than one, will be a big national charity, if we can. The rest will be a variety of different sort of community projects and social enterprises, and 1 or 2 maybe fixed target kind of crowdfunding campaigns, basically, to buy a community asset or organize a sort of local grassroots initiative like a neighborhood street party. So a nice diversity of projects, some including socially isolated, physically less able, or with psychological or other challenges, disadvantaged in some ways. So we can kind of really try and reach the people who most could benefit from this, and are usually excluded from projects like this.
All right. Okay, so next steps. I'm just trying to put something for myself. If did you want more user journeys, or I'm happy to collaborate if you have more developers. I'm happy to collaborate with them. Get some.
I think the sort of tech people who are most involved at the moment are yourself. David is also quite involved as well at the moment, but if I'm totally honest, I feel like there are some tensions on both sides, if I understand, around just kind of collaborative culture, just a little bit, and that's totally separate to my friendship with David. Like, he's a person who I greatly admire, I'm very close to as a friend. I think just in terms of his involvement in Dignity platform, I think I could easily say too much, but I think there's just some potential. We're still working this out, I think, but I think there's potentially some kind of misalignment in kinds of ways that we want to work together. Because I think David has a lot of experience. He's got quite clear ideas of how he likes to work in a team. I guess we do as well. And I suppose perhaps partly it might be influenced by me knowing David quite well. And I don't know. I think,
Okay.
But so I think that's all kind of, I guess I'm just sharing that because I think it's quite relevant to the tech sort of stuff. I don't know at this stage how much he's going to be involved. He's very proactive and lots of brilliant things. He's got a lot of energy, but I think I don't know. Yeah, I think we need more time to sort of explore together like what it is. But I feel really comfortable to invite kind of contribution from you. And I think we haven't. It's a new thing for us to kind of explore those sort of tensions. We've not sort of had that before, so we're trying to like work out what it is and better understand it, I think. And it's nothing dramatic, it's not a big deal. I think it's just us working out how we want to kind of bring people in. And I suppose David's a confident person, so I think he's like, let's build this thing, let's do this, we need to do this, that should be in place. you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't want to kind of worry you about doing something wrong or something. I think all of us are really appreciating your interest and involvement in the project so far, for sure.
Yes, yeah, sounds good. I'm happy to do again. Let me add. At this point I didn't note down any action items for myself, but then if there's any, feel free to just let me know.
If there's any what?
So, if there's any action items specifically, so it's typical to kind of wind down a meeting with taking notes and saying, okay, this I'm going to be kind of doing this. I don't have any action items noted yet. I generally have an idea that you may want some user journeys, wireframes perhaps, and maybe story points like the one.
Hey,
I think.
So one possible thing is, and this is actually, I mean, I'll stop talking about David in a second, but I think one thing that's quite unusual about my leadership style, or collaboration style, if you like, that I think I share to a large extent with Joe and Adam and Matt and Pasco, is that it's not our nature and it's not really our desire to delegate. Certainly we want to invite people that we really click with in close to what we're doing and explore together what we think. We try and avoid words like need, like what needs to be done, but like what we want to do, what we feel like would be most useful to do next. Explore that together, and then it just becomes obvious what we feel most qualified and excited to work on. And like if you ask me to like delegate stuff to you, for example, like that feels better than me assuming that you want that. But yeah, it's not my natural sort of leadership style to kind of be like, right, you do this, you do that. I need it by Thursday.
No, the reason I ask is I understand you guys are more of a self-organized team and each one taking a piece where you fit in best. Considering I'm kind of remote and I want to do my best to kind of help you guys get off. My point is to make a meeting productive. If there's anything that you need to be doing further next, so I just want to have a clarity, and I only want to be sure that I'm not, writing up something that is not really going to be useful. So it's best I put my time into what can get you the benefit if I do put my time. So I mean, that's what I wanted to know. Maybe a little more. Maybe when you guys discuss further, and then if you think, if you can go over the kind of tabular column that I sent out, a Word document, the story points and acceptance criteria kind of a thing. So if you wanted more of that, I could make more for the entire user story, user journey. What does a user see in the first page, and what are the story points, and what are the must-haves and what are the can-haves, kind of a thing.
Yeah. I just want to check I've got that email from you with it, or that I can find it with that stuff in it. While I'm looking for it,
you should be having it, because I know you replied me on that. Okay.
I just wanted to share this again. This is in the Dignity Dev links, but I just wanted to send you a direct link as well. We recently did a workshop that was really beautiful, kind of hosted by Adam, on the most inspiring but also realistic user journeys, not just on the app, but in the wider sense, kind of meeting in person, the whole kind of zoomed out big picture kind of user journey, I suppose, of Dignity platform, like the ones that kind of motivate us most and make us most come alive, and we're like, yes, let's make that happen. Let's make that not just a fictional story. Let's bring that to life and enable that user journey. So far there's only one in there, which is my one. I'll put a reminder out to the others who are in the workshop to add theirs to that. But my example, it's on 3 pages, if that link works.
Okay. Can you put me that link again, if you don't mind? And
it's on.
Okay. Got it.
On the Google Drive link.
I got the Simbi one. You mean the activity logs? That's the one.
Or
user journeys on Simbi, is that?
Is that not working? Let me try again. Hold on.
I have two other links that you sent earlier, not this one. And they kind of have
Yeah,
to wrap
are
up
you
it.
looking on the chat on
The chat window, the group chat. Yep.
Yeah, that should take you to the Marion. Should I send you on Telegram maybe? I'll try on Telegram.
Either is fine. Yeah, you could just group chat here. I mean, it's okay too. I have a hard stop in the next 2-3 minutes, Duke, and I have to go.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sweet.
I've got to head out for another appointment. So yeah, again, if you would like me to make more user stories, shoot me an email. If it's user journeys, fine. Or if you wanted you already have the web page. I don't know if you wanted to convert that into an application where users could sign in, or if you wanted a whole new something. I can chart up something for you guys if you wanted to go take the web app.
Yeah. I think now we have Simbi as a example. I think like really.
So that's a full-fledged web application. I think you would just log in there and get started, correct?
Yeah, for sure.
So they have a web probably and a mobile too, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. So if you wanted something like this and then wanted a little code base started or added to, let me know. And
so I guess maybe we can put it on dignityplatform.org/prototype or something, and we can start building there. Yeah. We could add a button to the promotional website that's currently at dignityplatform.org saying try our prototype.
I did it, yeah. Or you could just have your own .com and get started with a only alpha beta kind of a thing. You could do that. I mean, yeah, just brainstorm it, and then if there's anything I could do code wise, if you're already, you probably already have code for your regular website. Somebody's done it for you, right? So maybe those guys can kind of pitch in and say which way we want to take this next. So yeah, so again, I'm up for it. If you want user journeys, let me know. User stories, do that, and adding to code for your web application can do. Okay.
Yeah, I think those user stories and user journeys, I think, are really awesome. I think.
Okay.
User journeys, brilliant. Yeah, that would be fantastic. I think a big question for me at the moment is around, hiring versus doing. What do we need? What will be harder for us to get? And I think usually in time banks and these sort of platforms, it's harder to get people to request stuff. To say I need this, to hire people. Everyone always wants to give. So I think if we can, make hiring really feel like a gift to people, that's going to really help us balance that out. Because these platforms always struggle because everyone's just giving away their time for free. That's what everyone wants to do. So people need to actually hire as well. Anyway, I'll let you get to your call, Vasudha, before I take up all your time.
No problem. Okay, keep me posted, maybe Telegram or here.
If you, please go ahead and work on any of those things. Or if you want more information or you want to connect again, perhaps with more of us, I'm sure others will input too from the team on this call. Please by all means go ahead if you feel inspired, if you feel ready, just create some things. Maybe that's a good way to start, and we can give some feedback. I think that's often how I like to work in the collaboration, is just create something really rough and then get some thoughts on it, and it really helps me get a direction. I think welcome to the Dignity community, and thank you for giving your time.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. It's good to catch up. All right. I'll see you later.
Bye. Take care. Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you.